Hello everybody and welcome to Against the Fence. This is the place to be if you're obsessed and passionate about the UFC, of course, and we are back with another tough review and episode 9, and it's the semi-finals. Let's get into it. Come on, hope you're doing all well. It is the first heavyweight semi-final matchup, and we are talking about, as we jump onto the side screen, we're talking about these two gentlemen here, Zach Puga and Jordan Heidemann. They are both 5-0. The show started off with these two getting into that all-important training session in before the most important fight of their careers, basically. And as they are both on Team Peña, they're obviously sharing the same gym, so they had to separate. One had to train one side, one had to train the other side, and this situation happened when Team Peña was in the Ultimate Fighter, of course. We all remember her from the Ultimate Fighter as well. And she was sleeping in the same room as her opponent and things like that. And she found it awkward. So she didn't get involved in any kind of training. She didn't corner anyone. She didn't train anyone. She didn't get involved in anything. So what happened was both Zach and both Jordan both got their training partners and head coaches from their gyms that they usually would train with back at home. They got them in, flew them in, and they trained with them. So again, it's a bit of an odd situation there that Peña didn't really want to jump in with anyone. It's understandable that you don't want, obviously, they're both your fighters. Give us your thoughts on that. Do you think that you could have sided with one, or do you just not side with anyone at all? Because potentially out of these two, I've already picked from my last episode who I thought would win this fight. And I found it by quite ease. But I'll get into that in a second, and I'll play you a nice little clip from my last episode, which you'll enjoy. But as I said, the show started off with them two getting that all-important training session in. Again, it was both sides, both looking over, having little cheeky little looks at each other, see what they would get diving into and things like that. There's no Peña diving in her tactics no more. Obviously, as I said, she's not involved at all. Step completely out of the way of this one. As I said, give us your thoughts on that. What's your thoughts on Peña just taking a step back? Do you think she should have cornered one of them? Or not at all? Me personally, I kind of tend to agree with her not stepping in now. Like, they're both her fighters. You can't pick or choose unless you pick the winner. Unless you think, right, this is the person that's going to win it for me. I'm going to side with you. But anyway, that's the fight that we're talking about. But before we get into the fight, there is the coach's challenge. So again, we're here at the coach's challenge, and it is axe throwing again. What a challenge it is. Axe throwing, as you see there. You can see a sneak little peek of the scores there at the bottom picture. Obviously, Nunes went up first, and she took a 3-0 lead. So basically, how axe throwing works, I know this is not relevant, but I'm going to talk about it just quickly. There's a little board, and there's a black line, a red line, and a white line. So top, 1 point. Second line, kind of in the middle, 2 points. In the kind of centre circle, 3 points. And the bullseye is 5 points. So obviously, they go into it. How that works out is the coach that wins will win $10,000 and 1.5 thousand for their team. So it's an important one. Obviously, the fighters are going to want their coach to win, so they get a bit of buck. But as I bring up the winner for you, Nunes ran away with it. Honestly, she ran away with it. 28 points to 10. Every axe that Peña threw, it literally hit the floor. But again, I was hoping for a bit of animosity in this. Obviously, this is what the Ultimate Fighter is all about. Everyone wants a bit of animosity, either between the fighters or the coaches. Again, there was nothing. There was no remarks. If someone missed, there was nothing. So, boring. But, obviously, we get into the fight. Just bring up the fight that we'll talk about again just quickly. Both fighters made weight, which is what you want to see, obviously, at that all-important fight. And as you know, that both fighters, everyone in the house, they can't have contact with home. But as it's the semi-finals, they get a phone call home. So both fighters, Jordan and Zach, had a phone call home. Maybe got that bit of inspiration to go on and obviously get to the final. Both obviously rang home, spoke to loved ones. Again, it's a motivational. That's what you're there to do. You're doing it for your family. Again, you're doing it for yourself mainly. But again, obviously that your family is going to be motivation. Of course it will. But we're going to get into the fight now. So we're going to get into the fight. Dicey matchups. Let us know if you're in the chats. Let us know. Let's jump straight into it. Sorry. Round number 1, should we say. Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's get rid of that. before I get into this, this is what I said in my last episode, which was episode 8. This is what I said between this matchup. Listen in. And Zach Puga beats Jordan Heidemann. I think Zach's going to be too much for Jordan Heidemann. I think he's going to dominate that fight, to be honest, because Jordan Heidemann was so laid back in his last fight against Cole. I just think Zach's going to be too much for him in that. What did I say? I said that Zach Puga would run away with it. Zach Puga would run away with it. Does he? Doesn't he? Right, let's jump into it again. So round number 1, Zach was piecing up Jordan apart. He was, like, honestly, he was so good. It was unbelievable. Like, he had different aspects of the fight where he would kind of turn it into a brawl, as you see here in both of these pictures here, where he'd get in close, piece Jordan up, step away, then he'd be patient. And when he was patient, he was still so technically sound with his jab. His body shots was on point. And like I said, when he was patient, he was there. When he got in close, he would turn it into a brawl. And every kind of sort of burst from Jordan in, I don't know what you want to call it, in anger or oust or whatever, missed every single shot. Puga was in and out. He was excellent, on point round number 1. Honestly, he was on point round number 1. If you're going to argue with me, please do. But Zach took the round 1 easy. I do want to say, though, towards the end of round number 1, Jordan did get a bit of a clinch situation. I've got to give it to him. He managed to get the clinch. Managed to get him down by dragging him to the mat, which is fair enough. It didn't worry me at all because I knew that Zach would get out of this because he did in his first opening fight. He managed to survive a couple of takedowns in his first fight. We move on to round number 2. And before I get this picture up, here we go. What happens here, ladies and gentlemen? Zach Puga gets the second round TKO. I said he would run away with it, and boy did he. He catches him here with a right hook, and then a left hook, wobbles Jordan down to the mat, and all it took was a couple of punches, and the referee stepped in. Again, let's have a little look at the chat quickly. QR, you felt a bit bad. He didn't stand a chance against. No, he didn't. Honestly, he didn't stand a chance of him. Honestly, as you saw, if you saw the little video of me, I don't think he did. Because even in Jordan's first fight against Cole, he didn't throw anything. He got lucky in that fight. So lucky. There shouldn't have been a third round in that fight. He got so lucky. But anyway, back onto this. I said he would run away with it, and boy did he. And obviously, you can see where I'm going with this. Obviously, I said Zach Puga gets the TKO, a second round TKO, and he moves on to the final. And he's going to be potentially fighting either Muhammad Usman or Eduardo Perez. And I said in my last episode as well that Eduardo Perez would beat Usman. It's going to be a tough one because Usman does have a lot of power. But I just think that Eduardo Perez has more tools to his arsenal that will take him past someone like Usman. Again, these are 3-round fights. I know it could potentially go 3-round fights in this house, but it's 2 rounds. Then, if it's 1-1, then it goes into a 3rd round. So these are just predominantly 3 rounds anyway. So who's going to win out of Usman and Eduardo Perez? Please let me know who you think. Yeah, he does. Well said. The boys have pointed out correctly that Zach Puga does train with Curtis Razor Blades. He does indeed. And Puga was in the corner of Blades in his last outing as well. So it's an interesting one. Could he follow in his footsteps? He's got the arsenal to do it. Believe you me, he is a talent. As I said, round number 1, he was so good, like in and out with strikes. If you wanted to turn it into a brawl, he was landing, making Jordan miss. And when he was obviously resetting, he was landing his jab, landing his body shots on point. Superb performance from Zach, and he moves on to the finals. So that's the end of the episode 9. Obviously, you see here we've got that Laura Garado against I can't remember her name now. What have I done here? I can't remember her name. We get it up. Brogan Walker. Sorry, Brogan Walker. So we've got Laura Garado against Brogan Walker here again. I said that Laura would pick up the win, and I think she will get to the finals. Again, it's a tough ask because Brogan Walker is very experienced. She's probably the most experienced flyweight that we have in the Ultimate Fighter here. But I just think that Laura's grappling and how she mixes it up, she will prevail in this fight, and she will win. Again, like I said, it can be tough. Who do you think is going to win this one in the chats? Who do we win? Who do you think is going to win If Chandler managed to win last time, how do you think he would have fared against Zach? To be honest, I still think Zach would have won just because he mixes it up so much, and as he showed there as well, just how good his skill set is. I know he's not top class, but just the way he mixed it up there, I think he could have mixed it up against Chandler again, potentially used his grappling against Chandler, because I think Chandler was a little bit compromised in that fight anyway because he had a elbow injury. So how would that have fared in this matchup? Because obviously he would have had to have trained for this one. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely think that Zach would have beaten Cole. Again, it would have been a close one because Cole did have a bit of a kung fu spinning artillery there, as I would say. But as I said, Brogan Walker versus Laura Guerrero is the next on the next episode. That's the next semi-final. As I said before, I do think Laura will win that fight, and I think she will win the flyweight. Out of the heavyweights, I said I do think Eduardo Perez wins the heavyweights for me if he prevails against Usman. But obviously, if it goes to Usman and Zach, I think that it's a tough one. I think that Zach beats Usman if them two get to the final. But my main pick, obviously, I'm not going to dilly dally here. My main pick to win it was Eduardo Perez, and I stick with my pick there. Again, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win the show? Flyweights or heavyweights? Let us know. And also, John Nosai, if you've managed to catch any of the Ultimate Fighter, who do you think will win either of the flyweights or either of the heavyweights? That's mainly all I've got time for just now, unless we get any quick comments coming through. But yeah, as I said, again, just quickly, what was your thoughts on Peña not coaching one of the fighters? What's your thoughts on that? You think Brogan? Ooh, me and you were dicing it up there. You going for Brogan and me going for Laura. Again, that fight's next, bro. So stay tuned for me, obviously, next Tuesday. It's not going to be next Tuesday, is it? Because of Aftermath. Christ! It's going to be next Wednesday. It's even worse. It's even worse. That's not good. Because obviously we got our monthly Aftermath show next Tuesday. Sugar! I'm going to have to go live on Wednesday. That is shit. Obviously, I'm obviously going to watch it, take notes on it. I think Laura's going to win. I think Laura's going to beat Brogan. Yeah, Laura's going to beat Brogan Walker. I just think she's going to be too much for her. Again, Brogan's got good grappling herself, but in her last outing, Hannah Guy did manage to get her down. And if Hannah can get her down, what's Laura going to do to her? And Laura was dominant in her fight. And bearing in mind, that fight was on short notice. So, if you remember rightly, Laura, when she entered the tough show, she took the fight on short notice. So, if she did that, if she pulled that performance out of short notice, what's she going to do if she gets a little bit of a camp and more training sessions in? I think she's just going to run away with it, just like Zach did. I truly, truly do. But, again, I could be wrong. I'm not wrong. But I could be. But that's all I've got time for, really. Let me just take myself back to the main screen. That's all I've got time for. Again, that's episode 9 for us, obviously. Usually, I hope for a bit of diciness between the coaches. There's been nothing. Nothing between any of the fighters, really. Nothing I can think of. But, while if there is anything in the chats while I'm talking through this bit, I will get to you. This weekend, we've got UFC 276. We've got Adesanya taking on Jared Cannonier, and then we've got the trilogy of Max Blessed Holloway taking on Volkanovski. Who's going to win their matchups? Again, this is crazy. Such a great main card. Obviously, there's been ups and downs in a couple of changes in the card. Obviously, Tate Murphy's off. Now we've got Lawler Barbareno in the main card. Could that change? Who knows? But stay tuned for everything that we've got coming. Stay tuned for the socials that will come out. Everything will be in the description below. Our Discord is in the description below as well. Come on, get involved with ATF. We are the place to be. That is all I've got time for episode 8. But next week, obviously, I said Laura Guerrero taking on Brogan Walker. Laura is going to take this. She's going to move on to the finals. Believe you me, I will clip another video of me doing this, and it will be played when Laura gets the W. But, as I said, stay tuned for the watch-along. Oh, sorry, People's Picks before the watch-along. I do apologise. People's Picks before the watch-along. Again, just quickly, I know this, I'm long-winded. But if you do want to get your People's Picks in, The email is in the description below. If you want to be a part of our show, just send in your most confident picks for UFC 276. Get them in. Be a part of ATF. It is the place to be. That's all I've got time for. Thank you.